Hello, Farmalife family.
Hello.
It's been a while. We haven't done a video in a while, have we, hon?
Been slacking.
We've been slacking a little bit. But here we are, rainy season, 2018, and we have hit it off with a bang. Man, lots of great guests, lots of wonderful healings, lots of transformations.
Good
And
time.
we've got one right here. Ladies and gentlemen, Farmalife family, Seth.
Hi.
So, Seth, I always love to do this because, you know, we talk about people's story and how they found out about our place, you know. And usually it's a deep journey, or, you know, but yours is just kind of funny, you know, sort of serendipitous. So please tell us a little bit about how you found out and how you even came here. And of course, you're here with your mom too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hello, Sandy.
Yeah. I gave my mother this sugar substitute to try that came in this package that I had, and there was this listing on it that talked about this farm where you go and you work and kind of focus on weight loss and healthy living. And she said, "Oh, that just sounds like such a great idea." I said, "Well, if you want to do it, I would do it with you." So she started doing some research. She came upon Farm of Life, and she said, "This place sounds great." And I didn't look at anything she sent me. I just said, "Sure, I'm in." And then I got here.
That's awesome. The simplest things, right, that can create such massive transformations. So you're here with your mom.
Yeah.
And your mom's lovely. Again, hello, Sandy. And Sandy, she came here just kind of rest and relax a little bit.
Yeah.
She lost a little bit of weight for
lost.
sure, and then that's for sure she has.
Yep.
She's a little camera shy, so she's not on video with us, but she's had a great experience as well. But you came here sort of kind of tag along with your mom to support your mom's, healing experience here, right? Or just losing some weight. And you had a big one of your own.
Totally.
First off, I know a lot of videos we talk immediately about how they plant medicines, and we're going to get into that. But you know, many Farmalife family, many videos ago, we talked about the benefits of barefooting, and how that can heal oneself. And you have had a big transformation with that. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So
This is huge.
I fell 35 feet rock climbing when I was 22 years old, and was trapped on a mountain with a compound fracture. And they had to send a rescue team and helicopter unit up into the mountains to get me. And I was told at the time that I would probably never walk properly again, but certainly never play sports.
Wow.
So I didn't let that stop me, and I worked very hard. I had multiple surgeries. I play sports to this day, but I've had a lot of foot and ankle issues. And I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on orthotics and special shoes and podiatrists and reflexologists and all of this stuff. And, you know, it's never been great. It's always kind of like I've just learned to endure the fact that if I go play basketball, my ankle, my feet are going to hurt for a while.
Yeah.
I came here, and day one, you were like, "Oh man, you don't need shoes."
Yeah.
It's like,
That's what we tell most of our guests, you know, just go barefoot.
yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, I have like $350 orthotics and these brand new boots that I just bought specifically for this trip. Now this guy's like, "You don't need shoes," and I thought, well, okay. I'll give it a shot. He seems happy, and he's walking barefoot. So
Yeah.
I started walking barefoot, and the first 3 days were a little uncomfortable, tender, but I felt better almost instantly.
That's
and
amazing.
by the end of a week, I mean, I have had 0 foot or ankle pain. I feel connected. I feel more grounded to the earth as I walk, and you know,
Wow.
it's transformational. In fact, the thing I'm going to miss the most, and there's a lot of things I'm going to miss when I leave here tomorrow, is the walking barefoot.
That's great.
I love it.
That's awesome. Wow. And you know, you can keep that going. This guy here lives in New York, and anybody who lives in New York around the city, all you gotta do is find a park,
Yeah.
right? Just find a park. Now, obviously, you can't do it all day long. You know, we're not saying walk barefoot on the cement with the glass and the dirt and this, that, and the other. But if you find a park, you can do it as a form of exercise, right? For like 30 minutes to an hour. You can still keep that earthing going and keep the pain out of that leg.
Yeah, it just, I mean, not even to get into, there's so many different levels to it.
There really are.
Yeah.
Yep.
I felt it, and I felt it quick. And I'm not a cynic, and I'm not like a believer. I'm just a guy who does stuff and sees how it makes him feel. And
Exactly.
I responded instantly.
Yeah. So those of you out there, walking barefoot is the real deal. Get on it. It's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pencil in a little deeper. Right?
Okay.
So
Then
sun
I met the
gazing.
sun.
Yeah, right. Sun. I mean, perfect.
Then I met the sun.
Sun gazing. So it's a practice that I love. You know, I feel so dear to it, and I introduced you to it. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, first of all, it was a flip on everything I had ever learned about the sun, which, you know,
Right. Don't do it. You'll go blind.
you'll never find me without my sunglasses before this trip.
Yeah.
And so you started talking to me about sun gazing, and it sounded a little out there, but when you were talking about the Egyptians and the Aztecs and sort of the sun worshipping old world tribes,
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's true and that's interesting, and I've always seen that in art. But then the idea that all of this stuff is energy that comes from the sun that we're consuming, whether it's leaves or it's animals who eat leaves or it's whatever is produced, that's the sort of purest source
It's
of
the direct
energy.
source.
Right, and when you said it, I thought, well, yeah, I mean, I wonder if we can receive. And I just thought, I'd give it a shot. And I loved it
Nice.
from day one. And I had a moment where, you know, we did exercises and protected myself and, you know,
Sure.
with your suggestions. And I just had a moment with that sun, kind of a black orb around it, and I was seeing it and could just feel that the nurturing of all things, including me, rather than me having to get everything second and third hand. And and I've been doing it every morning that we've had the sun out. And again, I felt a real boost in energy and a great relaxation from it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Can really help you get into the present moment too, right?
Well, yeah, it's
Just
a lot
locks you right in.
more fun than sitting in meditation in my dark room, you know. But looking at the sun is,
Yeah.
it's epic.
A little more light.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yoga. You've enjoyed Pernilla's yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the quote?
Well, I don't remember my quote, but I
What
think
was it? Oh, yeah,
Yoga.
right,
It was
exactly.
something
Yoga
along the
is
lines
my
of
the favorite thing that I hate. The best thing that I hate.
yoga.
My favorite thing that I love to hate, right? Or something like
yeah,
that.
yoga is the best thing that I hate.
Yeah, I remember that. It was the first or second night, and we were talking about yoga, you know, the different things that we offer here, and
Yeah.
we were talking about yoga, and you were like, oh, probably not.
Hate it.
Yep, you were like, hate it. You know, the best thing that I love to hate, or whatever you said. And it was
Yeah.
funny.
Now I always feel good after yoga, but I
Right.
never enjoy going. I never enjoy the first 45 minutes. There's two poses that I like, Savasana and Child's Pose,
Ah.
and I hate all the other ones. But, you know, I stuck with it,
You did it.
and rather than do it, you know, once every 3 weeks, which I normally do,
Right.
I did it pretty much every
You
morning
did it religiously
while
up
I
there.
was here.
Yep, it's a ritual for you.
Yeah, and I certainly by the end of the first week, for sure, I was really starting to enjoy myself and feeling the improvement and coupled with everything else from sun gazing to walking barefoot, just feeling more connected to my body.
And with your bride, I remember one day you were telling me that one yoga, you were like, man, I had a deep release, right? Because a lot of times you're getting into these poses, and Pernilla's like, you gotta breathe into
Yeah.
this position. And that position, right, that's yoga. The position has to do with that chakra, and that chakra starts to open up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some good ones.
I don't even think I was breathing when I got here, to be honest. Now when I think about all the different things that I've been doing, I can't remember breathing before I was, you know, in those yoga classes doing that and
Right.
paying more attention.
So you'll be more mindful of the breath now, right?
Absolutely.
Connecting. That's great, that's great. The
But that
food.
wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't enough. There's so many things. Yeah, right?
I'm a willing guy. I think one of my best
He is, man.
attributes
This guy, he got
is that
involved.
I'm just willing, you know?
Yep.
Something comes up, I'm willing to give it a try, because what's the worst thing that happens?
Well, what do we say? Jody and I say,
You
you're in it
jump
to
in.
win it.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of guests will come here and we're like, hey, look, you're coming all the way out here. Put it in.
So
Do all the activities.
So the food, I knew about the food.
Yeah, the food.
I've always been pretty aware of, you know, mindful eating and mostly vegetarian diet,
Mm-hmm.
periods of veganism and raw. Always feel good from it.
Yeah.
I just usually don't have the discipline, and I don't make it a big enough priority.
Right.
Having it just completely available here was just so easy.
Yeah.
And you know, some kind of arthritic issues that I have in my hands, all that stuff
Yeah.
reduced. I haven't even noticed my hands probably in the last 10 days.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But you know, these are things I'm really aware of, and they work.
Right.
And this place makes it so easy
right.
that you can't not do it. I mean, that's it. Same thing with the yoga. It was too easy to to go that I couldn't say no.
Right.
But then something I had no idea about at all when I got here, and you and I talked one night, was about plant medicine.
Yep, exactly. That's where we're going to go to next, and that's where we kind of, you know, it's funny. It was the second night, and one of our other guests had requested it via email, and you know, you got to announce it to everybody. And I really had thought of you because I just met you, and it was a nice connection. And I was like, hey, everybody, Saturday, you know, there's going to be a cactus ceremony, you know. And I remember looking right at you, and you were like, oh, you know, your eyes kind of lit up a little bit, and here we go. We're off into Saturday, right? And so talk to us a little bit about the cactus ceremony.
Yeah. So first of all, I mean, I've been an athlete my whole life, and I barely drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, have always been that way. I have heard about some of the ceremonies, that, you know, sort of ritualistic
Down
medicine.
in Peru, you were telling me.
Yeah, I
right.
remember one time reading an
Yep.
article about, you know, a sort of shamanistic ritual in Peru these people had gone down to.
Right.
And that sounded fascinating to me because it was using medicine and nature for
Healing.
sort of, spiritual expansion and opening.
Not to get
opening,
high. And,
Right.
Right.
Not to avoid, but to actually go into. And when
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and so when I listened to you talk about it, one of the things I was realizing as I was here, not intending for this to be my healing or my mission, you know, kind of more in support, but while I
Right.
was here and started doing the work and quietly paying attention to myself after years of just working, I thought there's a lot of stuck energy. There's a lot of stuck emotional energy. I'm not processing a lot. It's like I work, I pack stuff in and I pack it away, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that at some point.
Yep.
And through the yoga, through the barefoot walking, through the just being in nature, things started to come up and release.
Sure.
Maybe not release as much as come up. And the way you were describing the plant medicine, I thought, wow, that kind of sounds like a spiritual enema. And
That's a great way to put it.
and I
A
thought,
spiritual enema.
yeah, you know, in the time that I knew you before, we even talked about it. We developed a quick trust.
Definitely.
The place is wonderful, makes me feel very safe. The people are all great. And I thought, well,
Go for it.
this would be the kind of place to do something like that.
Sure.
And so I said, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the experience was wild. I mean, it was,
Pencils into the mind. You get to see what's going on in there.
yeah. I mean, it more than anything, it slowed down my thinking to the point where I was seeing some of the sources of my thinking, the pain that was behind the thinking, and most importantly, I was getting underneath the defense mechanisms that were closing off to the feelings and putting up blocks. And I couldn't get through them that first time that we did it,
Right.
but I saw it, and I mean, it was as clear as a monolith in front of me.
And that's the opening in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know, the awareness.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Right? And then after that experience, ayahuasca with our great friend Kevin.
Yeah, there was definitely a sense after that experience that we needed to hit it a little bit
Let's go a
harder.
little deeper. Sure.
Yeah, and that and in the time in between I did the first medicine and we made that decision, I realized that I needed to be more willing, because the first time I did it, the medicine wanted to take me deeper, but you know, we have the ability to kind of say, you know what, I
Put
don't
up a
want to
wall.
I don't want to see anymore. It's too
Sure.
much for me.
Right.
And that happened subconsciously for me.
Yep.
And so then I made a more conscious decision to say, I want to get into this. I want to get, if I can't get through it, at least want to get deeper into it.
Right.
And we decided to go in a stronger, I don't know, stronger medicine, a different kind of medicine, one that
Right.
maybe circumvents the ego a little bit more deeply and says,
Sure.
if it's here, we're going to see it.
Yep.
And you introduced me to Kevin. You told me you vouched for him, and went in willing to that night. And it was a really powerful experience.
Great.
It wasn't hokey. It wasn't hallucinogenic for me.
Yeah.
You know, the skies didn't light up on fire. It was very practical, and I felt this spirit guide, wisdom just sort of come up through me and say, you know, these are the things you've been doing, and you've been doing them for a long time.
The patterns.
And they haven't served you, and I think you know that. So it's time, this wall that you don't want to see, this thing that you're avoiding, it is simply you not wanting to do the work that's required for the life that you want. You'd rather be out there, you'd rather, you know, talk to, berate, negotiate with God, instead of realizing that everything you're looking for, it's right here. It's it is at your fingertips.
Nice.
And then, speaking of fingertips, then I went into what felt like almost a vision where I could see the energy in my hands. And I started just naturally going to different places in my body. And each time I went and I touched a part of my body, these memories would come up. I mean, I could hear footsteps in moments from childhood.
Wow.
And in those moments, I just kind of loved myself and and I don't even know how I knew to do any of this because Kevin's drumming and he's giving you guidance, but
Sure.
it's a very personal experience.
It sure is.
And I was
Yeah.
really grateful that this wisdom for me was gentle and very guiding.
Yeah.
And I just felt a lot of stuff coming up and releasing, and I left there saying, you know, the reason I hate yoga is because it's hard, because it requires patience, because it's not immediately gratifying, and I am the source of my effort. And so these are things that have pissed me off in my life. And I thought, I was given this gift of, no, this is your actual work. Not the getting to the achievements, not the everything else. This is your work. And it was sobering, but it was so grounded and truthful. And and you've seen in the last, however long it's been since I had that ceremony, as I've approached the yoga, as I've approached the sun
A
gazing.
different person.
It's been a different level of commitment and
Yep.
a different level of responsibility.
Yep, I remember you telling me, you're like, I got to get to work now. There's the medicine that was great. The experience was good. I got taught the lesson. Now it's my choice. I either do the work, change my diet, get up and start exercising, change the way I think, let go of some things, right? And I just need to start meditating and praying. And you've been doing that.
Yeah,
Good on you, man.
Sometimes I think the greatest gift is just showing you what is not the path.
Yeah.
It saves a lot of time and energy.
Yep. So that was definitely a really great experiences for you.
Yeah.
And man, you know what? You and I shared it. We just got back. Peace Falls.
Yeah. Peace Falls is Peace Falls
I
is one
love
of the
that
most
place.
magical places I've ever seen.
Yeah, and we do during the dry season, our Into Light retreats, we do medicine work there. But I mean, it's medicine in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's expansive. I mean, you just see spirits there, and the water's so healing, and it was nice to have that connection with you there.
Yeah.
Such a magical place.
Listen, I came for a little bit of peace and R&R in nature, and I got that in spades, but I got so much more than I bargained for, and I'm very grateful to you guys for building this place. And it's going to sound like a cheesy endorsement, but I mean, I'm going to send people, and I would recommend this to anyone, because whether it's just addressing your physical body with food and nutrition and good sleep and the power that comes from being in nature and being reminded of what it feels like to be a part of all of this, all the way to a safe environment to face things that are going on in yourself that are very hard to face in the other world with the noise. And this is really a powerful, healing place. I'm grateful.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you're just I don't know, we had this a nice connection, and I think we're just going to be friends forever now. You're my buddy, man.
Amen.
Give me a hug.
Until next time.
Love you, man. Farmer Life family, we love you. We're signing off.